Is it really possible to overcome PMDD? I'm your host, Natalie Ryan Hebert, founder of The Red Tent. In this episode, I revisit one of my earliest clients, Karoline, nearly 3 years after her healing journey began. Karoline candidly shares her struggles with severe PMDD symptoms, including violent thoughts, shame, and years of searching for answers. Through Rapid Transformational Therapy and my holistic program, Karoline uncovered the root cause of her pain, trauma tied to survivor's guilt from her birth as a twin, and transformed her life. Karoline reflects on how her newfound self-compassion and grace have allowed her to navigate life's challenges with resilience, free from the grip of PMDD. If you've ever wondered whether healing is truly possible, this episode offers hope and practical insights into breaking free from the cycle of suffering. Hello, it's Natalie Ryan Hebert here, and I'm here today with the wonderful Karoline. I'm so excited because Karoline was one of my very first Red Tent clients back when I first came out with this idea that PMDD can be healed if we just go inside and heal our trauma and heal in the subconscious. And Karoline took a leap of faith and worked with me right back in the beginning. And here we are, nearly what must be 3 years later. And we're having a little follow-up. So it's so lovely to have you, Karoline. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, hi, Natalie. Yeah, so great to see you again after it's been a long time. And also, yeah, I'm quite excited to just revisit some of these things because it has been a long time. I think, but maybe about 2.5 years or so. I was just reading up just to sort of refresh myself because it has been a while. I was revisiting my PMDD diary and reading back on some of the chats that we had during the sessions and post the Red Tent. And yeah, it's quite something to just see where I was then and what I was going through and just how things have shifted.
So would you share when you read back on the diaries, what sort of things were you thinking, feeling, saying back then, the old Karoline, before you did this healing work in yourself?
I mean, it was actually quite painful to read some of these things. The thoughts, I think what really shocked me the most, I think, because it doesn't ever leave you because it was just such a part of my life for so long, I think since about 15 or so. But I think the most disturbing thing for me now to read was the violent thoughts that I had towards myself. So incredibly violent, such self-loathing. And then, of course, that followed by such depression and shame. And there was the anger, not only towards myself, but towards my partner, the irritation, the suicidal thoughts and all the things I inflicted on myself, all these coping mechanisms, the self-harming, eating disorder, totally just withdrawing, the anxiety, and the list just goes on and on and on. And that it was, as I got older, that it was taking up such a large chunk of my time as well. It wasn't just a few days or a week. It was beyond. It was over 2 weeks sometimes even a little longer than 2 weeks. It's actually quite incredible that I was able to persevere for so long. Yeah,
there's a reason they call them PMDD warriors, right? Because it's just, you can't explain it to anybody. It does feel like you've been thrown into the seventh circle of hell in your mind. It's just absolutely unbearable. So very brave women who are fighting this, and my mission, as you know, is to sort of say, listen, this is what it is. You don't have to stay suffering this way. There is a way, but you're going to have to go inwards and go back in time to that little girl who's the one carrying all this pain. So tell me, I mean, I know I've been through your story, but if you can share, what did you discover through your healing process?
So I mean, first of all, just getting to that point, because it wasn't, as you know, and as most women, I think in the in your program, we tried everything before, and from diet to taking all the supplements and exercise and yoga and getting enough sleep and eating well and cutting out sugar and alcohol and this and that, and then thinking maybe 1 month, oh, I found the magic formula, I didn't have any symptoms, this is it. And then going onto these platforms on Facebook, for example, and I mean, because I revisited that now as well, where, guys, I found it, you have to take this and this and that, and then you're going to be fixed. And then 1 month later, tsunami,
crash,
everything back and worse. And so it was years of just trying all of these things, also cognitive behavioral therapy, antidepressants, and just nothing working. And there was just a point where the suicidal thoughts were with me throughout most of my adult life. But then it just reached a point in my mid-30s where it was just, where there were more bad days than good days, almost, it felt. And I just reached a point of, I just can't do this anymore. It was the bottom of rock bottom. And yeah, that's often the sort of the turning point. It's like, okay, well, actually, no, like, F you, PMDD, I'm not going to let you win. And I think that was my big turning point, where I realized it can't be that I suffered for all of these years, over 20 plus years, that I suffered all of this time. And then I also affected so many lives. I mean, my partner, my daughter, can't have been for nothing. There must be something greater, at play here. That was when things started to shift. And that's when I started to just look at things differently. And I just realized there's got to be something to it. And then things just started coming to me. I think I started typing in some different keywords when I was Googling. I think maybe spirituality was one of the keywords. Healing and spirituality were two of the keywords. And I came across a story, a very inspiring story on YouTube. And all these things just started to give me hope. Yeah. And that tiny little bit of hope was just what stopped me from ending it. And I came across another woman before you, and I started with her, and then a short while later you popped up on Instagram. And it didn't take much for me. I thought, okay, I'm already doing something. I'm already seeing someone, but this is just incredible. Here's someone who is saying that she experienced PMDD herself. She's come out the other side, and she's offering this incredibly sounding program. And yes, I was a little skeptical, but at the same time, at that stage of my life, I just was ready to grab anything. So I didn't even question the price. I had just the right amount of money put aside that I was going to use for something else. And I was like, okay, clearly that's what it's for. We got in touch. We had our first, our little coffee chat. I remember exactly where I was. I was staying on a little island in Denmark. And I knew after that conversation with you, okay, that's it. I'm just going for it. And then all sorts of shifts and magic started to happen.
So what did you discover? What was you had your RTT sessions, which they take you back, don't they? We say, okay, and it's not me, it's all your wisdom that saves you. That's the beauty of this. It's not me going, do you know what I think it is, Karoline? I think it's this. You tell you what it is. That's so you can't possibly get it wrong. There's no, oh, yeah, maybe that's what it is. Like it's a revelation, isn't it, that comes forth, and you can't, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It changes you instantly. So what were you believing that was hurting you so much?
Yeah, I mean, that was so incredible, that RTT session. Should I revisit that?
Sure,
first?
if you're happy to share it. I didn't want to go sharing all your story, but you tell.
Because, yeah, we had that session, and I remember very clearly thinking, this is not working, and feeling quite anxious, and you just continued to gently guide me. And at some point I just thought, okay, just go along with it. Just stop resisting it. And all of a sudden I was a baby lying in a cot, and I could see it was very visual and very specific, the details that I could see from the, and even now when I'm talking about it, from the shape of the tile, the pattern of the tiles on the floor, the light coming in through the window, the color of the cots, where I was lying, just the whole layout of the place. And I just felt this overwhelming sense of feeling so incredibly alone. It was this heavy, heavy sensation on my chest. I couldn't breathe, and I just felt so alone. And I wanted to get the hell out of there and away from feeling that. And then all of a sudden, and while this was happening, I think I was still questioning it.
Is this real? Because
am I making this up? And then all of a sudden I was at my birth. And I just remember these really bright lights, and again, just these awful feelings of just not deserving to be there. Yeah, lots of very difficult feelings coming up. And that was, this birth was obviously a traumatic one. It was a cesarean, and my twin sister didn't make it. So also lots of feelings around that came up. But just, overall this feeling that of just, not deserving to be there.
I remember it was something along the lines of, if she doesn't get to live, then I don't deserve to either.
Yes.
Why do I? It was that survivor guilt that you had from the moment you were born and had carried with you, and had said you don't deserve to have a good life, a happy life. And what changed in your session when you dialogued, which was so beautiful, you had a dialogue with your twin sister, and it's not like we're seancing with the spirit world. It's nothing like that. It's all within yourself. But you connected with the sister that you knew from the womb, and you spoke to her, and you allowed her to give you a message too. And what did she say to you? Do you remember?
I don't remember, but I remember. Do you remember?
I remember. I'll never forget this session. It was so moving. I was just going, oh my gosh, it's like watching a film, right? It was so beautiful. She said to you to go and live double the life, because she didn't, and that changed everything. Because I look at your life now, and it looks like you're living the life for two people now. My sister didn't get to live, but don't worry, I'll live double the fun for both of us. Instead of I don't deserve to live, I'm going to live doubly. And what a change of perception for your whole life that is, right?
I remember you had me. I think yes, yeah. But what was interesting then after the session, though, was despite this very powerful experience, there was still this self-doubt coming up about how much of this have I fabricated. And then in the days following the session, and I'm bringing this up now because I've heard this since, with other women bringing it up, I felt I was already, I'm going to just backtrack a little. I'd already been starting to feel better since I'd started having these sessions with another woman. And after this particular RTT session with you, I started to feel or I started to worry that I was going backwards because I started to feel worse. And I understood shortly afterwards, and I think after also speaking to you, that this was just part of the process, the pain working its way out.
Yeah.
And so it didn't feel like this immediate, oh wow, now ta-da. There was still some stuff to work through, and I was still a little bit skeptical. And then what really sort of cemented the experience for me was about a week or two later, when I was with my mother having a conversation with her about the experience. And then I just thought, well, let me bring up these things. Let me bring up what I saw as a baby in this room, in this house. And she just confirmed all of the details. And I only lived in that house until I was 2 or not even 2. And she confirmed everything. And in that moment, there was this, okay, I take it fully on board now. And that was almost 2.5 years ago. I haven't had a PMDD episode since. For quite a while, I was, I still continued to track everything. And there was still, it was almost like this sort of anticipation anxiety that I had for quite a long time, where I was like, okay, what's going to happen now? And I'd really have a lot of anxiety that it would come back. It took a few months. As soon as I would start to feel a little bit imbalanced or feel a little bit shaky, check the calendar. Am I in which phase am I in? Is it PMDD? And I was very grateful that often in these instances, these things were not even happening in the luteal phase.
That's right. Life, human beings. We actually have emotions, and you will have times where you get upset or you cry, but it doesn't mean, or you get angry. You don't turn into a robot. You're still a human, but you're just a normal, everyday, run-of-the-mill human being. But even more aware, I think, because of everything that you've been through. The women with PMDD are a little bit different in that we are, and Eckhart Tolle talks about this in his book, The Power of Now. There's a whole chapter about females and the menstrual cycle and us actually having this wave to ride. And women with PMDD, we've got it like times 1,000. We are pushed. We are like, our triggers are exposed every month. There you go. There's all your shit, like right there every single month. So when we are sort of called to heal it, much more than the average person who can go, well, there's my box of pain and it's way down there, and sometimes it comes up, but mostly it's hidden. That's not how it is for women with PMDD. We are exposed to that every month, so we do have this opportunity to heal it, which you've done. And the interesting thing is that pretty much every woman I work with is, I believe, kind of a healer in herself, either an artist or a nurse or yoga teacher. There's something that's either a teaching, artistic, empathetic, high sensitivity. Every single client has it.
I've just before an hour or two before our session, I did which test is it? I did a few, the Enneagram one, and then also the Myers-Briggs. Yes.
Yeah. What did you get?
I know you've mentioned that before a couple of times, but it's so clearly that INFP.
Yeah, we're all NF. Every time that N and F, it's the intuition and feeling are the strong. There's not a woman I've worked with who hasn't had N and F as the main ones. And and actually a lot of I asked in the forum recently of Rapid Transformational Therapy practitioners, and they are all NFs as well. Interesting, so therapists are intuitive and feeling. Women with PMDD are intuitive and feeling. So there's something in that, isn't there? And here's me, PMDD, I don't know, survivor or whatever you want to call it, healer. I can call myself a PMDD healer. And and I'm a therapist and a singer-songwriter, and it's that creativity, healer, empathy thing that we all have in common.
And what a gift. Yeah, that's I think been the most incredible thing, I guess, for me and for you and for any woman who's come out the other side, that being able to turn this thing that was the most painful, awful, difficult thing, to turn that box of pain into this beautiful, beautiful gift. I mean, well, if someone would have told me while I was in the throes of PMDD that this had the potential to be a gift, I think I would have, I don't know, I would have been pretty angry, I guess.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like a gift at all at the time. No, definitely not. And so how has your life changed now? So you told how it was before, revisiting the PMDD diaries and how things used to be. How are things for you now? What does life look like in comparison?
It's a before and after. In a way, it's another life. I mean, I'm still me, but I'm really just a far happier version with a lot more sort of self-love and compassion. There's certainly more room for self-compassion, but just generally, just so much more self-love and compassion and self-acceptance and joy and peace. And it's not to say that everything is peachy now, especially this last year. I've been through some of the most difficult and challenging and painful experiences of my life. But without PMDD compounding all of that. And so, not to take away from how difficult and painful it's been, but I've just been able to generally with this awareness that wasn't there before, just able to get through things so much more, I don't want to say easily, because things can still be difficult, but it's just
gracefully.
More gracefully. And this analogy that you have used with the wave. I still remember that. Yeah, that you still get knocked over by life, but the difference is now is that you don't stay down under for so long. You can pick yourself up that much quicker.
Yeah. I would have had this analogy back when I was working with you too, that tsunami you talked about, we make that a surfable wave, instead of it dumping you with the RTT, that emotional stuff that you simply have no hope against. It's a flood. Well, that turns into a wave. It's like, okay, here comes a wave. Oh, it's coming, right? And then with the metacognitive work and the other work that we do together, that makes you a good surfer. You have more control over your thinking. You can choose your thinking. You don't have to be taken over by your thinking, but you say, right, here's me, and there's that thought, and what am I going to do with it? Am I going to take it in? And there's more presence, and that makes you a good surfer of whatever waves that come. And when you've got that, you can handle so much more when those waves come. Yeah.
I love that analogy. And so if I'm sitting here, I'm looking out the window, I'm living, maybe not fully living my dream life, but I'm just getting closer and closer to living my dream life. And that's maybe one of the big differences, is that I'm now, since I've healed from PMDD, there's just been less just going along with things and just plodding through life. It's now, no, this is important to me, that's important to me, and I'm going for it. So, for example, I've wanted to live for I don't know how many decades surrounded by nature. I've made the steps. That's exactly what I'm doing now. In the process of this healing journey, my partner of 10 years and I have separated. But in such a beautiful way, because we were doing it's an ongoing, healing from PMDD, but the healing process goes on and on and on, and there's just always more and more layers to work through. But then always, as you get further along, you pick up more tools along the way, and everything just becomes, I guess, less of a struggle. There's more, there's more ease, there's more grace there. things just flow more beautifully in life. There are more synchronicities. There's more joy, more peace. And yes, I still, I mean, I don't want to, I want to be careful not to just say that everything is great.
I don't think you've said that. Like, I get the feeling that you've had a separation, you've moved, there's been a lot there's been stuff, like life goes on, right?
Yes.
With all its lessons and but sorry, what were you going to say?
I don't know what I was going to say now, but maybe that's also a big difference now. Something your perceptual lens changes on this journey as well. And I don't know, maybe 2 years ago I wouldn't sort of had the insights and the awareness to realize that everything that is happening in life is happening for you and not to you. So it's that just getting out of that victim role was just so huge, and learning to take full responsibility, like really radical responsibility. And that was also huge with my partner and I, and while we worked through our relationship issues. And yes, we decided to separate in the end, but because of these tools that I picked up along the way, I don't know, and that we picked up while we were working through things together, everything just becomes more doable, I think.
Yeah. It's sort of, I feel like we rise out of suffering, and then it still keeps going. You kind of spiral round on things too, stuff you think, didn't I already see this before? Haven't I worked through this thing? But it comes at a different level, or there's a new perspective every time. And I think where you're at now, it's not so, you're not in that suffering, victimhood, apathy, all of those really heavy, dark, violent feelings, but into self-responsibility. And isn't it the best thing to take full ownership for everything and to say there is choice and there's consequence? Sure, there's consequence, and maybe that's going to be tough, but I'd always have a choice. Instead of, I often say to clients sometimes, or people I talk to, you can stay in victimhood if you want, but then you've got to stay in victimhood. And it's not fun in victimhood. It really isn't. It gets you off the hook for a lot of things, but there's no power. And
I guess that's the thing, is that sometimes the suffering has to get so bad before we're ready to, before we're ready for that ownership.
Definitely.
But here I am now. Today is day 3 of my cycle, and it was very clear in my PMDD diary. The day 3 was usually always one of the worst days of the cycle for me, and I absolutely for sure would have found a way to cancel any extra activity. And now it's just day 3, and it has no sort of meaning attached to it anymore.
I'm on day 3 too. Isn't that cool? We're in complete sync.
That was nice. I remember that also from our chats. Often all these synchronicities, and that's something that I really want to bring up as well, because that was such a beautiful part of being in this Red 10 program. Of course, it was amazing, first of all, to be sort of in the circle with other women sharing similar experiences, and just to have that sort of support and to feel held. But I think what was really incredible and so meaningful and helpful for me was the time that you gave beyond these group sessions. So, for example, if I would be going through that anticipation anxiety, or if I'd be having a wobbly and starting to get insecure, reaching out to you, and you were just, your responses and your words of wisdom and your warmth and your support, that was just, that was huge. And I actually feel quite emotional bringing that up now, because I was rereading some of these things. And so maybe now is a good time also just to, I've done it already so many times, but maybe not on video, just to express my gratitude. Obviously not only for the role that you played in my journey, but I'm I've been spending maybe less time checking out going onto Facebook, checking out some of these things, but you still pop up in my screen quite frequently. And it always warms my heart so much to see these stories of women whose lives you have touched and who have come out the other side, and just this incredible ripple effect.
Yeah, more women who have, because your story was one of the first, because I could tell my story, and I was even afraid to tell my story. I didn't want everyone to know. Like in the beginning, when I started doing this work, I was sort of like, oh, I don't really want to be the PMDD lady. Like, I don't want to be known. I had to get past that, because I have to tell that story if I'm going to connect. Or, you're not going to trust me to help you if you don't know I've been through it. Right. So I had to put that out there and think, okay, shit, everyone's going to know now I had it. And it was my dark secret. I didn't want anybody to know about what I'd been through. But I talk about it, to anybody now. But your story was one of the first ones that was up on my page, and then there is this ripple effect, because another woman will read your story and go, oh, okay, and these testimonials, there must be 100 of them now. You just can't deny it, that this is this, if you're ready to heal it, you will. You've got to be ready, though. I guess that's the important thing. And I do try.
You can, if you're not ready, you can read all those testimonials and you will still find, you have to be ready. You just have to be ready.
Yeah, that's right. And I do, I try to look for that when I have this discovery call with anyone interested in working with me. I'll look for those words like, I have to do something about this. I'm ready to do whatever it takes. I will find the money. I don't even care what it costs. These sorts of words of like right and ready to own it. Then I go, okay, good. And if someone doesn't have that, I will sort of go, look, I think right now seeing a counsellor might be good for you. I will direct them elsewhere. If you're ready for transformation, I'll know it. And if you're not, I don't want to drag anyone through their own healing journey. It's got to be you. And I think I probably said that to all of you, that you're the hero. You have the power to heal yourself. It's not me. Like, I'm not a healer with powers. You're the healer, and I'm activating you, and I'm facilitating the healing in you, but I'm not doing anything. I don't have any magic powers at all. It's you. So yeah, that's so crucial.
Yeah, because before starting sessions with Daphne, who I met before you, and then you, I was so close. I'd been researching having a full hysterectomy, and for quite a while I was really excited about it, because I'd read, I was just like, have a hysterectomy, it's all going to be gone. And then when I started digging deeper, realizing, but it's actually not that straightforward, and there are all sorts of other complications that can come along with that, and and then I was back to, oh my God, so I'm really screwed. I'm stuck with this for life. But no, I refuse. It cannot be. And just the whole that process. But yeah, that was such a turning point. Just realizing I've suffered enough, and there's got to be something more to it. But I think when you reach that point where I'm done with suffering. I can't suffer like this anymore. I've had it, and then
that's had a gut pull.
And there are two options there. I guess then there are two choices that you can make.
Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing. And and here you are. And this is and I think every story that a woman comes on and shares has something special in it. And for you, it's really one of the things is that, look, here you are, it's 2.5 years on, and it's never come back, and you're never afraid of it coming back, are you? I don't imagine you'd be thinking, but maybe you're gone now.
There were a couple of months where I was tracking it, and I think after half a year or so, I was like, okay, that's it. I know I'm out of it, and there's no fear now.
So good. Well, thanks so much, Karoline, and we'll keep in touch on our little over the internet here and there. But I wish you all the very best. And thank you again.
Thank you so much for joining me on Women Who Heal. If you found this episode helpful, I'd love it if you could take a moment to rate and review the podcast. Your support helps us reach more women who might need this message of hope and healing. And don't forget to share this episode with anyone who could benefit from it, a friend, a sister, or someone in your community. You can follow me on Instagram at Natalie Ryan Hebert and at the Red Tent PMDD. I'd love to hear your thoughts and connect with you there.